Hello everyone and welcome back to the RuneScape Dragonwilds channel for another Q&A session. I am joined once again by our executive producer, Mod Dutch.
Hello.
And I am joined by our creative director, Mod Rook.
Hello.
I'm gesturing as if I know where you're going to be in relation to me. That's going to be a problem for future us to figure out in editing. Anyway, let's get right into these questions. I want to jump straight in. We've had one question come up from 3 different people, from Thernax, Nathmatics, and ArchPKing, who wants to know, could we see Slayer introduced as a skill within RuneScape Dragonwilds?
Cool. Awesome question to start off with. We are always exploring which new skills could find a home in RuneScape Dragonwilds, even beyond what we've shared in the roadmap. We definitely noticed the buzz around Slayer. We're going to have to think about how to bring it in a way that feels true to the spirit of the MMO and Dragonwilds. And it's not about copying and pasting for us, right? We need to make sure that it really feels right and good. And then we're going to see where that falls in terms of priority with other skills that you guys are asking for. Personally, I don't think it's a question of if, just when.
Super. So, Slayer Helms in the future. Look forward to it. No, I'm joking. We'll see how it goes. We've got a question for Mod Dutch from Trixie, who says, will we see Steam achievements implemented in future updates or 1.0?
Oh, 100% yes. We are certified achievement hunters ourselves, and we really can't wait to bring Steve achievements into Dragonwilds. At the moment, our plan is to launch a robust set of them with version 1 once the game's content is locked in. We want achievements to feel meaningful, fun, and a little tongue-in-cheek, of course, with plenty of nods and references to RuneScape.
Yeah, we've already got a bit of a list being formed. I've thrown a few in there. Hopefully a couple of my niche references get through and the puns are flying. So look forward to that in the future. We've got a question for Mod Rook from ArchPKing, who asks, with Fel Hollow coming in December and it being crowded with the undead, will you consider adding the Crumble Undead spell and with that, adding Chaos Runes?
Ooh, Chaos Runes. It's come up in discussions, but ultimately we've decided to hold off. Like right now, our focus is on like the big ticket feature items that bring the most fun to players across the entire experience. We wouldn't want to introduce a new rune type, just talking about Chaos Runes, with just supporting a single spell. If we're going to do something like that, then it will be because they have multiple use cases, right? They're exciting to use and they feel worth crafting and casting. So at the minute, not right now.
From Bobby X, we have the question, when can we see some better optimization for world building?
Yeah, we know this is really important, and it will require constant updates. So it's not a single patch issue. We will be on the ball when it comes to this, and we're going to do continued experimentation with what we can do to improve things, and we are really committed to that, believe us. Just stay tuned.
Lovely, thank you. More to look forward to in the future. We've got a question from Bad Mincemeat, great name, and Frizz the Great Wizard, a recurring member of our community, who wants to know, they're wondering when we can expect more items to decorate our buildings to make them feel less empty and more lived in.
Yeah, definitely. I think there are already something like 80 to 100 decoration items in the game right now, and we're always looking to expand that library. We're currently developing a castle kit, which will bring stone buildings and fortress-style designs, to players' fingertips. On top of that, I think the farming skill is going to be including a lot of new type of decorations as part of its progression. So that's just the beginning. Like as we continue expanding, we are going to add new stuff, right? That's going to help you better personalize your bases.
There's already been, I've seen some sneak peeks behind the scenes of what the castle kit is looking like, and it's awesome, and I'm so excited to see the kind of stuff that people are going to put together. And yeah, it's going to be a great way to even more elaborately build amazing stuff. So I'm so excited to see what the community comes up with. We've got a question from Rock versus Reality, who wants to know, will more POIs, creatures and animals be added to the world to allow you to explore even further? For example, one of the goblin outposts we visit is at a castle, but you can't go inside the castle. It feels like a missed opportunity to have the goblin outpost be inside to allow you to explore even more. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's good. It's a good question. We're actively looking at ways to encourage more exploration in the world that you've already uncovered. But rather than modifying existing points of interest, we're leaning towards new quests and skill activities that breathe fresh life into those familiar spaces. So as for interior spaces, like that's going to be a core focus of Dowdon Reach. It's a massive, sprawling fortress-style area built around the Black Knights, and it's going to be packed with interior spaces. So not a missed opportunity there. We're going to really lean into it.
We've got a question from My Little Portobello, great name. With the new fishing skill coming, will you be able to build small rafts or boats, or will it be just shore fishing?
Oh, that's a great question. But no, not at this time. The current regions in Ashenville just don't really support it. We don't have vast coastlines or open seas. It's more about winding rivers and quiet lakes and misty ponds, right, tucked into the wild. So you'll be fishing around those rather than like getting on a boat and rowing out into deeper waters.
There's already a few. I can just see them in my mind. There's a couple of idyllic little bodies of water that I'm like, oh, there with a fishing rod. Just, yeah, set me up. I'll be in heaven. So I'm excited. We've got a question from Trance who wants to know, Fashionscape, is this something on your mind when making content?
The drip game is always on our minds. We're always aiming to create gear that not only performs well, but just looks great. For core progression gear, we try and stay pretty consistent in tone, right? Something that feels grounded in the world, something that's functional and reflective of your journey. But then we have our vestiges, right? And that's where we can be a little bit more elaborate. They're still functional, sure, but that's also where we let our artists go a little bit more wild and explore more exotic, sort of eye-catching designs. So yeah, absolutely.
I know that we've got, I feel like I pick on them quite a lot, but I know that we've got several JMods in the team who are big fans of games like Destiny, where a lot of your progression indicates how you look and you wear your achievements on your body, and that end game fashion is so important. So we really want to embrace that and build that into how we go about it. So we joke about it, but it's always on our minds for sure. From Chazor13, they want to know, so we have farming, fishing, prayer, and agility slated for 0.10 and on. How much content should we expect for these skills when they release?
Yeah. Every new skill that we launch will have at least as much content as the existing ones. So that's the baseline that we're committed to. That said, some skills feel naturally like more content heavy. If I take farming as an example, that's going to introduce entirely new gameplay loops that don't currently exist in Dragonwilds. So it might feel more substantial right out of the gate, but it's less about hitting a fixed size for us and more about delivering meaningful, exciting experiences that fit with the skill's identity. So as long as we can get that right, we're going to be happy.
A question from Mikan, who asks, will we be able to move items or furniture that we've placed? I'm not sure if this has been asked already, but it would be a big quality of life update, and it would save time and make replacing things a little easier.
Yeah, it's something that we're actively discussing. The ability to move furniture is on what we call our quality of life backlog. It's a feature we'd love to bring in. We have already ruled out being able to move walls because of our structural stability system. We want that to remain functional, and if you can remove a wall, everything might collapse like a house of cards. However, for things like furniture and stations, like we know that it's important to fine tune your space without having to tear everything down, and we want decorating to feel creative, not frustrating. So we're actively looking at how we can make that process smoother for everyone involved.
We've got a question from Lupus Rex 13, who asks, are you able to reveal anything in regards to how steel will be made in Fel Hollow? Can we expect the recipe to be the same when Fel Hollow drops, or will we have to collect special new resources unique to Fel Hollow?
Steel will be made of iron and coal, just like you'd expect. That said, Fel Hollow will come with other special resources outside of steel. As you progress through the region, you'll uncover new materials that are unique to the environment, both things that you would expect and maybe some things you haven't seen before, each with their own sort of crafting paths and uses. So it's all about keeping the experience familiar, but fresh and exciting at the same time.
We've got a question from Thunder Taco. Great name. Will you do rare drops that you can chase in Dragonwilds from mobs and bosses just like in the other mainline RuneScape titles?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do a bit of that at the moment. We're careful not to lean into it too hard, right? Dragonwilds is still rooted in survival design. So the traditional randomized loot systems don't really work with that foundation. That said, we have explored what lighter, more lateral forms of that would look like. So you won't find like a weapon in a chest, for example, but you will come across rare materials and crafting components, right? Like in the goblin packs and your bird's nests, which offer that bit of unpredictability and surprise. And then, of course, we have our vestiges, right? We have our blueprints for unique weapons that have rare drop chances. So, for example, the cruel goblin blade, that blueprint is a rare drop that you can only get by hunting out goblins, right? So it's our way of rewarding exploration with that sort of mob RuneScape boss style you'd expect from a RuneScape game.
I remember when I got, what was it? Is it the Stag Hunter bow? I was like pogging. I was like, oh my God, I got it. You know, we could go way over the top with loot beams and stuff like that. But just even then picking up something and seeing that unique and the new pop up on the side. And I was like, oh, what is this? And then I equipped it. And now it's just all I use. I'm obsessed. So more of that is going to be awesome. We've got a question from Jake Mon and from Dano Morano, who both want to know, are you guys looking at putting more trees and metals in Dragonwilds that coincide with actual trees and metals from the RuneScape games? Are we going to see maple long tables, gilded altars, demon thrones, and things of that nature? But then also any updates on when more homesteading features might be expanded, so more furniture with the materials that you can find in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So every region is going to add a new material or tier of wood and metal, right, which will directly correlate to your crafting options. So Fel Hollow will introduce steel and willow. Dowden Reach will add mithril and maple, and so on. So these materials unlock new gear, they unlock new items, new building pieces, stations, what have you, clear upgrades that are going to push your progression forward.
From Colin Mills 96, they ask, would you be open to utilizing a hotbar for skills specific to magic, melee, and ranged when it's added into the game? I feel like it would make using skills as Surge, for example, feel much smoother and help the overall feel of combat.
Yeah. We are actually working on a system that will let you assign a limited number of spells to like a quick access list for faster use. And you know, this isn't just limited to combat spells. You'll be able to customize the spell book and what spells you want to go on this quick list with whatever suits your playstyle. That could mean combat spells, traversal spells, and utility ones like woodcutting. The goal is to give you fast access to your go-to spells without going through the full spell book every time or going into the menus. For everything else, though, like the spell book is still a great way to access your less regular spells, but still the ones you want to have, quick access to.
We've got a question from Travesty Penguin, who wants to know, is there any chance of adding an alternative mode eventually that would provide procedurally generated map or something like that, even if this is after early access and 1.0 has launched?
Yeah, I'm going to be very honest, procedural generation is very low on our priority list. Dragonwilds is built around a handcrafted, tailored content, and the systems that we've developed don't easily translate to procedural design without compromising some of what makes the game feel deliberate and meaningful. That said, we've talked about the idea of optional sort of procedural roguelike experiences, something that are, challenge oriented, separate from the core progression, but nothing's been confirmed, and it's not something we're actively developing right now.
Mod Dutch, we've got a question for you from Too Good, who wants to know, can we expect to see official servers supporting 100 plus players, 50, 20? Where's the current thought internally on how many players can get on one official server, and when can we expect to see that?
Yeah, we know this is something that the players want, and to be honest, we want it as well. We want 100 player servers, but a lot will need to be modified about the game as it currently stands and about our backend to achieve that. And as such, this kind of upgrade lies beyond version 1 of the game. First, we need to make the core co-op campaign shine and deliver the 4 big expansions on our roadmap, as well as, of course, extra platforms to play the game on. Does that mean that player count updates won't be worked on until the end of next year? No. You know by now that we don't focus the entirety of the team on single development tasks. We leapfrog with smaller strikes teams. And so internally prototyping on big player counts and what that means for the game and its modes will start in the coming months. Delivery of that will take a while, but it's not a matter of if, but only of when. We've got big plans for the future of the game. It's on our roadmap. It's got a code name, so yeah.
Spoilers.
Cool.
Whoa,
yeah.
spoilers.
Yeah.
Whoa,
yeah.
Crazy. So yeah, we'll be sharing, of course, as with everything on this roadmap, we're going to be taking you all along the journey as we go. So
yep.
we will be sharing more as and when the development continues to snowball. We've got a question from JC Banner, who wants to know, Mod Dutch, any chance that UI customization is coming to the game, or at least the ability to mod something like a Lua file to do it?
Yeah, we hear and acknowledge that desire, absolutely. Most likely this is going to be much further out. To be honest, it will require investigation and some scoping subject to prioritization.
On that subject, we're going to be speaking to you folks about modding and about your familiarity with modding. So look out for more conversations around that. We want to get more feedback from you so we can better understand how important this is for you. And as Mod Dutch said, the prioritization and scoping is going to be informed by the feedback we get from you. So make sure you're leaning in and giving us your thoughts. We've got a question from Stairbuilder, who wants to know, just wondering if world or random events would ever be a thing in Dragonwilds. Things like the Meteorite event, Evil Tree, Evil Chickens. Just a thought?
Yeah, we're a big fan of random events ourselves. They are a great way to make the world feel alive and keep players on their toes in all sorts of unexpected ways. That said, we want to be careful about pacing of the game. These events should feel special, not routine, so we'll need to tune them to be rare enough to stay exciting and memorable. And yes, it's a personal goal to have Evil Chickens make it in. Yes.
There you go. You've heard it here first. From Chazor13, they ask, with the announcement of creative mode for 0.9, is hardcore still planned for it as well? Or are we putting hardcore mode on the bench for now?
So yes, hardcore mode is currently being benched. Early on, it felt like a solid way to offer players a high stakes challenge. But then as we developed hard difficulty, it started to feel like less required, a little bit more redundant, right? Rather than essential. That said, we haven't scrapped it. The plan is to revisit hardcore mode once the game is wrapped for the 1.0 version, right? When players can take the entire journey from start to finish, including that final showdown with Queen Cauldra. And that's when the challenge is really going to mean something. So that's when we're going to release it.
We've got a question from Kaitil Seren, who asks, will we have another dimension to traverse while in Ashenfall? Would that be the Abyss or underground passes, underground areas? Anything like that?
Aha, funny story. So one of our very, very first pitches for Dragonwilds, and this is years ago, actually took place in the Abyss entirely. That said, for the first main Cauldra campaign, we're going to keep things grounded on the continent of Ashenfall. No interdimensional travel this time, but rest assured there will be a very wide range of biomes and different environments to explore, right, in each new region that we bring out. Could we venture into other dimensions in future story DLCs? Maybe.
Here we go. Now you've said it. We're going to be hearing speculation in the future about whether we're going to Terra Guard or other places. Great. The headache has already started. Angel BP has a question for Mod Dutch. Is there a chance to get something similar to random events like in OSRS? Little weird events like puzzles, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. We're exploring world events, which Mod Rook actually touched upon in a previous blog. But when it comes to puzzles, that's something we're planning to lean into more with future quest content. We're really big fans of puzzles in the game, especially the kind of clever, quirky challenges RuneScape is known for, and we'd love to bring that same spirit into Dragonwilds, but it will likely come through quests, not as open world content. It is something we're looking forward to building out as the world and all of its stories expand.
So, we've got a question from JXE1996, who asks, I feel as though swappable quick wheels for your spells would be useful in keeping your spells organised. Maybe 3, for example, one for combat spells, one for harvesting or building, and one for quick use items, such as potions or wardstones. What do we think?
Yeah, multiple spell wheels that you can switch between. It's currently on the short-term backlog, the quality of life backlog I mentioned earlier, and we're aiming to implement them soon. Right, right now, because of the amount of spells that we had at EA launch, we've managed. However, as we continue adding new spells with new skills, and we start to backfill old skills with new spells, we're noticing, yeah, you're going to need to have those multiple configurations and be able to switch between them easily. With regards to the sort of the spell wheel for consumables, I hadn't really thought about that because that's what the hotbar is currently used for. It's an interesting idea, though. Definitely something I can chat with the team and see if it's worth exploring.
There we go. We might have to call that the JXE wheel. No, that's not gonna work. The wiki's going to be very confused if we try and put that in. We've got a question from Magnus Vest, who asks, will there be more weapon attack types, like heavy attacks, dodge attacks, jump attacks, something like this? Could make the PvP more fun and competitive, and improve combat overall. What do we think?
Well, those of you who are actively following jobs on Jagex, you'll know that we're currently trying to expand the combat team to explore exactly this kind of thing, right? It's not just about refining the core system, but we want combat to feel as responsive and as satisfying as possible. So the team has already been discussing features like, jump or drop attacks, dash attacks, sprint attacks, etc. That said, we need to balance our ambition with time, as always, in game development and other priorities, right? Because these improvements can have a knock-on effect on AI. It's like a little balancing act. If you make the player's moveset more sophisticated, the AI have to be able to at least counter it or respond to it in some way, right? So it's about that yin and yang, so it doesn't become unbalanced or cheesable. Still, improving the flow of sort of traversal and combat in general, just that going into one state and the other, is something we feel really strongly about, and it's on our radar and we are building towards it.
We've got a question from RFMGX Kills, who asks, is there plans soon to improve controller support? A suggestion would even be to introduce keybind or button mapping so we can decide which button works for each task.
Yeah, controller support is really important for us as well, because a lot of us are controller players. I myself am a controller player as well, very important to me. So we're working on full controller functionality for 0.9, which is September 9th. That's going to come out, so mark your calendars, with more improvements and refinements that are going to be made to the implementation following player feedback. Key mapping will be looked at soon as well, though our focus is making sure that the controller support feels both functional and fun for its first release.
We've got a question from DeFero Rex, who wants to know, could we build a village well using the construction skill? Towns and villages in the Dragonwilds environment could benefit from a clean well of water, and it would allow players an alternative access instead of having to continually boil dirty water.
So my answer might spoil a little bit around the upcoming farming skill. What do you guys think?
Go on, why not? Let's treat them.
All right, so spoilers for farming, but in short, yes, we are introducing systems that will allow you to store and gather water for both drinking and for watering crops and plants. There will also be optimizations and multiple ways to acquire clean water, so players can choose the methods that best suit their setup, and that doesn't require you to go back and forth to dirty water sources. Farms in general are shaping up to be a really strong centerpiece for base building, and Yeah, we think that they will become a natural anchor point for settlements and villages, both functionally for things like access to water and visually to make bases more vibrant and organic and look awesome.
Having spoken to some of the team, including Mod Mossdog, on their current plans and how it's all shaping up, there's some really, really awesome ideas that I know players are going to love, and I can't wait to see how it changes the landscape of what everyone's base looks like. So if you're like, oh, I'm going to put a little bit of a space outside by the side of my base for a little bit of a farm, maybe chuck a couple of extra walls down and give yourself a little bit more room, because it's going to be pretty cool. We've got a question from Avernic, who wants to know, would masterwork recipes for iconic tools be on the cards soon? Something like Magic Secateurs or the Pickaxe of Earth and Song?
Yeah, not currently. Right now we're focused on the core set of craftable tools, and the progression is more around the masterwork weapons. That said, there's no reasons we couldn't start exploring the idea of masterwork tools in the future. It's a natural expansion of the system, something we may look into as that sort of core progression is fully established.
A question from Chadley, who asks, can you reveal anything about how events spawn or how placing a construction object or a base affects these? When building in larger areas, it seems that bigger open spaces within settlements sometimes don't prevent NPCs from spawning and can lead to warbands or raids spawning right in the middle of your base. Is there anything we can do as players to mitigate this?
We're aware of this issue. It became really noticeable for us once we put walls into the game and enemies still manage to spawn inside the walls. We are actively working on a solution that prevents enemies from spawning within clearly defined base boundaries. At the same time, we need to make sure it cannot be exploited to completely shut down enemy spawns. The goal is to fix the problem without opening up new ones. And that is a really tricky balance, but it is something that we're committed to solving.
I think we all saw that video where someone just completely covered the entire map with foundations and then nothing could spawn. So we're not going to fall into that trap again. But yeah, there's so many options for us to explore, and there's so much amazing feedback out there. So thank you all for submitting your questions. It's been amazing hearing from you all, hearing your excitement, hearing your speculation, your theories about what's going to happen in all these expansions. So we're so glad that we get to be able to sit down and have a chat with you, answer some of your questions, and take stock of what's on your minds as the community. What are the burning questions that matter to you? So look forward to another one of these next month. As always, I want to thank Mod Dutch and Mod Rook for taking time out of their busy day to come and hang out and answer those questions. So thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. And it was great.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And if there's anything you want to say to the folks listening in?
It's first time doing one of these. I know that Mod Dutch has done one before, but the caliber of questions are fantastic. And please, more of those. We like answering your questions, giving you more tidbits around development and what we're planning. So yeah, it was really great. Thank you.
Yeah. Looking forward to the next one already. Keep your questions coming.
Awesome stuff. Thank you all so much for submitting your questions. Thank you to everyone if you're watching on your second monitor while AFKing, or if you have just had us up on the full screen the whole time. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you for being part of this amazing community, and look forward to our next Q&A next month. But remember, join the Discord to get an exclusive look at all sorts of awesome new stuff coming your way, sneak peeks at things in development, and even snippets of stuff that we aren't sharing anywhere else. Join the official subreddit to make sure that you can catch up on any news and announcements, and we'll try and fit some AMAs and Q&As in there as well. And follow us on all the socials. You're going to see loads of cut downs of this video filling your feeds so you don't miss out on anything, and you can share in the excitement and send it to your friends amid all of the other Instagram reels or whatever you're sending your friends to annoy them while they're trying to do a boss or something. So with that said, I want to thank both Mod Dutch and Mod Rook for joining us again. Thank you for watching, and until next time, we'll see you in Ashenfall, adventurers. Take care.